We welcome on freelance golf journalist Adam Stanley to break down the two-part HBO doc Tiger. And Adam, I understand you waited till this weekend so you could watch them both episodes back to back. I watched them one week after the other, so I think the back-to-back might have been a little bit better. But I guess just after watching, what are just your first couple takeaways from it?
I think that what we saw from the Tiger documentary is the ultimate rise and fall of perhaps the most tragic athlete of, the last 50 to 100 years even. You look at everything that Tiger Woods was able to accomplish on the playing field, and then all the self-inflicted things that ended up happening off the golf course as well. And you struggle to wrap your head around how somebody who was this good at their job was also so poor at some of the most usual things that functioning adults do. It just was so interesting to peel back the layers and peel back the curtain as it relates to the Tiger we never get to see. They use the word, this is the machine. Tiger is this machine, and we got to see how he became as such a little bit more with the documentary. Now, there wasn't much new news as it relates to the book Tiger that came out a couple of years ago. This kind of just brought the book to life.
Now, I want to dive into Earl Woods' role here, and especially just this whole idea of this raising of a successful athlete, how big of a role these parents play in, like we see with Venus and Serena Williams, Peyton Manning, Walter Gretzky, and Wayne Gretzky. But he built this Tiger machine with Catilda as well, since literally before he could walk. But he also had his faults that were carried into Tiger, his womanizing, his abuse of alcohol, and in Tiger's case, prescription drugs, and a penchant for cutting people out of his life on a whim. Do you think that Tiger would be as successful as he was if he wasn't raised by Earl?
I think the best and the worst thing to happen to Tiger Woods was the fact that he had Earl Woods as a father. Because when you look at everything that Tiger has become, both good and bad, it was because of him. And that's what the documentary really showed us, is from the time that Tiger was 2 years old, watching Earl hit golf balls in the garage, until Earl's passing in the mid-2000s, and Tiger went on this streak of his own womanizing and struggling with prescription pills and doing the Navy SEALs training, which is a whole other situation in itself. Who did he get those inspiring points from? Well, he got them from Earl. Earl was in the Army. Earl was a womanizer. Earl abused alcohol, like you said. So he also turned Tiger into the most dominant golfer of all time. And I think that without Earl creating this machine, we wouldn't get Tiger Woods, the athlete. But without Earl Woods, the person, we wouldn't have gotten Tiger Woods and all of his faults as well.
Do you think it is necessary to be raised, maybe not so much with all the faults in Earl Woods, but just the necessity to be raised with golf, the number one thing since you were 3, to become that successful?
I think so, because you look at everything that Tiger did, and some of the stuff that happened when he was a child was a little bit sad now. When you look at his first girlfriend and you look at that big argument and the letter that he wrote to say, we're getting off the path. This is not part of the plan. So I think with Earl making this plan and sticking Tiger to it, we got Tiger being the golfer that he is. And I think that Tiger has started to pivot that with his own children. We hear it so much insofar as I've gotten them into sports, but I've gotten them into all sports. Sam, his daughter, is a spectacular soccer player, super high level. Charlie, of course, we saw Charlie play golf with his father just in December, but I believe that Charlie plays other sports as well. So while Tiger has said, hey, get yourselves into sports, there's a lot of benefits here, he's gone the total opposite as Earl and said, if you like other things, pursue that as well, which I thought was a nice evolution as a man and as a father, versus Earl just driving this plan so aggressively forward. But we've seen examples of other people who don't always need such an aggressive plan to become successful on the PGA or LPGA tour.
Well, thanks so much for coming on.
No problem. Happy to.